This is our lesson for 923. So take a moment, read the do now, and then take a moment and solve it. Okay, if you're not done, go ahead and pause it, but just for time-wise, I'm going to keep going. So go ahead and pause now. I'm going to read it and then solve it, so you can either pause or do with me. It says your weight on the moon is about 2/13 your weight on Earth. That's because gravity is less. That's how we get our weight. If someone weighs 28 pounds on the moon, solve the equation below to find their weight on Earth. So we already put 28 in. So 2/13 times our weight should equal 28. Okay. So we talked about this yesterday. I wanted to bring it back. How do we solve this equation? Well, if it was just 2x, we would divide both sides by 2, but it's 2/13 x, so we still can do the same thing. Divide both sides by 2/13. 2/13 divided by 2/13 is canceled out. We got x equals 28 over 2/13, which is kind of tricky. And students would have come up and shown you this, or it's 28 divided by 2/13, right? Still, you've probably never divided by a fraction before, because it's much easier to do an equivalent expression, which is multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to change it to multiplication, and the reciprocal of 2/13 is 13 over 2. Okay. And now we just go straight across. 28 times 13. We get, maybe right, 364. And then 1 times 2 is 2. So, and then we'll simplify it. We get 182 pounds. So, if someone weighs 28, we know that they actually weighed 182 pounds on Earth. Cool. And the big key is using what we did in 5th grade or 6th grade, multiply by the reciprocal, right? Instead of dividing by the original fraction. So we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. That helps us get our final answer. Any questions? Haha, just kidding. Can't ask questions, but that was our do now for 923. All right, we would go over any questions from the homework. You already had the answers, so most students usually have a problem with number 8 and 9. I just thought we would go over number 9 together. That's usually one students kind of struggle with fractions. So I'm going to go over that now. So it says 2/7 j minus 1/7 equals 3/14. Okay. It has fractions, but we can do all the same stuff. So just forget if there were the 7s there, right? What if we were just like this? Well, you would have to undo -1, and we can do that by adding 1. But in this case, we're going to add 1/7 to both sides. Negative 1/7 plus 7 cancels out. It makes it 0. So 2/7 j. And I would have a student come up and do this one in class just to show everybody. But we're not there. Okay. We have 3/14 plus 1/7. We talked about the other day, you can add fractions, but they have to have a common denominator. It makes it, we can get our answer there. 14ths and 7s can be both 14ths, so I just need to multiply top and bottom by 2. Okay, so I can do 3/14 plus 2/14 is 5/14. Okay, we have 2/7 j equals 2/7 times j equals 5/4. You should feel much better about it. What do we do to both sides? Well, just like the do now, we're going to divide both sides by 5/14. By 2/7. 2/7 divided by 2/7 is 1, so we're left with just a 1j. And then we need to know what 5/14 divided by 2/7 is. Whoops. Zoom that out just a tad. And there's your answer. You just got to do the math. So what is 5/14 divided by 2/7? Well, it's much easier to multiply by the reciprocal. So keep, change, flip. And we get j equals 35. 14 times 2 is 28. Boom, we found our answer. A lot of steps, but just because we have to deal with the fractions, it adds a little bit more, but it's still all the same work to solve the equation. I can simplify this fraction just a little bit. Both of these can be divided by 7. So 35 divided by 7 is 5. 28 divided by 7 is 4. Boom, 5/4. Okay, any questions about